Hey everyone, my name is Nicole and I recently got into UCLA's Design Media Arts program as a transfer student. And so I wanted to make this video today to showcase my portfolio and give you some tips and insight that I acquired from this process. And I hope you find this video helpful. I know during the application process I was really intimidated by making a portfolio because this is the first one I've ever made, but I am here. I am here to give you everything I know. So just some general information on the UCLA Design Media Arts program. I'm just going to read it from my document here that has everything I want to talk about in this video. But basically, UCLA DMA or DESMA incorporates technology such as digital media into their work, and there's a lot of encouragement for experimenting from this program. People can go into so many different art fields such as game design, narrative, visual communication, video, film. Personally, I think I want to go into video, photography, motion graphics, but we will see. And just some other general information. The UC application, I think the deadline is November, so after you submit that and you put Design Media Arts as your first choice major, in January you will get an invitation to do the supplemental application for DESMA, which is the portfolio. And so you're going to have maybe about a month to submit it, but here's the thing. So the actual portfolio worksheet with all the prompts on it usually is posted, I would say, around October, November, September. So you can start working on your portfolio in when it comes out back then, so that when the application comes out in January, you can just submit what you have because you've been working on it, which is something I highly recommend you do. It's always great to have a lot of time to brainstorm your ideas and work on your project so you don't feel rushed.
You can access the supplemental application by going to the UCLA undergrad website, scrolling all the way down and finding the link that says UCLA Supplemental Application Worksheet. And when you look at the worksheet, make sure it's the right year. As we can see, this is 2021. Even though it's not the right year, this is a good place to get a good idea of what to expect. And just keep on checking this link or PDF to when it will be updated to the right year you are applying for it, and then you can start your portfolio.
And just some general information on me. As I mentioned before, I am a transfer student, and UCLA DMA does not have any hardcore requirements, class requirements to get into the program. They only have a recommended selection of courses, which I have on this page right here. And they say your portfolio is the most important part of your application. So knowing this, I took the courses at my community college that I felt would help me with my portfolio, and I used the guide of recommended courses that they gave us to create this. In my senior year of high school, I took one graphic design course, which was cut short by COVID. But then at community college, I took, I took History of Design Media Arts, 2D Color and Composition, Graphic Design 1, Typography 1, Interaction Design, Color Theory, and Motion Graphics. I loved all these classes, especially motion graphics and the history of design media arts. I felt like they gave me a really good foundation of what I want to do in design. And I was also able to get really familiar with all the Adobe Creative Cloud software that I eventually used to create my portfolio. So, I recommend, taking design classes. I moved over a bit just so I can show you my projects here in post. The first project was a self-portrait. And what they say on the application exactly is, in this assignment, we encourage you to reflect on the unique experiences, people, background, culture, history, and upbringing, and circumstances that have shaped your identity. And so I feel like this is such a great prompt to take advantage of to show, who you are, of course, and your art style, and it's just super versatile, super broad. Feel free to use video, 3D sculpture, technology, anything to, make it happen. And so for my self-portrait, as you can see over here, I used InDesign. And just in general, as I mentioned before, I really like collages, which is why I decided to use it for this prompt. I also added Los Angeles because I live 10 miles away from the city, and seeing the skyline has always represented this, this diversity for me. And I felt like that's a really important part of my identity, so that's why I added it in. And yeah, I just put all that stuff there in a video. The next project was a word project, and we basically have to make a composition based on a word they give us. It changes every year. So last year was the word refuse, and this is what I did. I used photography and InDesign to create yet another collage, and I, love photography, especially like surrealist kind of work, so I kind of based this off of ordering from a menu. And this was my artist statement, which you have 500 characters to write an artist statement for like every single one of your prompts. I'm not going to read all of mine, but I am going to do it for this word project. I felt like the artist statement's a really good opportunity to kind of explain your artwork. It really added like some meaning to what I put here, and this is what I wrote. As consumers of media and citizens of a growing world, the power to refuse can make all the difference. The news, media outlets, and films often misrepresent communities, but as artists and critical thinkers, we can choose to refuse to consume these stereotypes, constrictions, and labels that are placed upon us. We can resist the labels and repair the faults of misrepresentation. The question, what are you going to order, gives us a choice as simple as eating at a restaurant, to speak out or stay silent. So that was what I did. This next piece was actually a new prompt this year. Our mission was to remake a book cover using only type and color. And so I did it on The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which, by the way, is an amazing book. I love using psychology concepts in design, so here I used figure-ground perception to create a face out of letters. I used Illustrator to, warp the letter forms in order to create this illusion. And also The Hate You Give spells thug, which is why I highlighted it in red. So there's kind of a lot of subtle messages going on in this one composition. Then we had to choose our self-chosen best work, and to which I made this video in response. And so all my life I've been making videos. It's kind of the main form of art that I do if you look at my previous YouTube videos on this channel. So by the time I got to this part of the application in December, I was really used to the design process, so I wanted to go out and really think outside the box. And so I think the limit for a video was 15 seconds, so I took this as a challenge and made a video about the pursuit of curiosity. And one thing that really helped me here was utilizing the artist statement, like I mentioned earlier. The artist statement kind of helped me describe what my piece was about. And while I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long, I'll read parts of it. And what I said was, curiosity is the key to growth, exploration, and new ideas. Simply asking why can unlock opportunities for wonder and freedom. This is something I've realized and believed in for a while now. As I enter my 20s, I yearn to stay curious despite the critics and encourage others to do so. The video displayed here shows a changing world and the inner eye to look in and around yourself. When questions are asked, answers are given. The greatest gift of curiosity. This piece is a celebration of how far we have come because of our wonder. I am grateful to live here. I can explore different fields of knowledge and celebrate the growth of the world simply by continuing to pursue curiosity. As an artist and dreamer, I want to stay curious. I want to ask questions and show this in art. I want to use art to inspire others to harness their own curiosity so they can question the status quo and fight for a better world. Thank you. And lastly, we had to submit just 5 to 8 unique works right here. So this is what I did. Daydreamer 2021, a collage I made with photography and Photoshop. A letter to my younger self, a separation of time, growth, and imagination, something I did photography with, which I think might be one of my favorite pieces. Cornucopia, made in Adobe XD, laid out in InDesign. I made this in my interaction design class. We basically had to design an app, just the design part of it. There was no coding, but I learned a lot there. A Wonderful World, A Growing World, 2021. This collage I made with just purely thread, some photographs, and a camera. And lastly, I believe I added a commission video that I made for a music artist using After Effects. And that's it for the portfolio.